So I'm coming back in. I've got yarn. I'm going to make the division right here to come in like this, the separation for the legs. So I'm going to just come in at the bottom, and I'm aiming to be in the middle, which looks about right there. I'm going to leave some here so I can pull, and then I'm just going to go back in the other way. And I leave myself a little bit just so that I know where I was at. Then I'm going to go and come out there. And again, I leave some there. And what I try to do is I go in and I try to leave one because I'm going to work my way back down. Yeah, I think that'll be good. And so then right where I left, where there's a gap, I'm going to go in. And come out. And then I'm going to go in where there's a gap and come out. There's a gap. Go in there. And go in there. And then I'm simply going to, it looks like a mess, but I'm just going to pull. Yeah, and you can see it's still right there, so I still have more to pull. So I try to hold on to one. And see, as I'm pulling, you see it coming in. And then I'll hold that one and pull. And I think that's probably about it. And it gives them the little partition for the legs. And then I'm going to tie this off. Make like 3 knots. And then I'm going to tuck this inside. So I'm going to go ahead and tug because I want to make sure that that knot is on the inside. Alright, so she's got legs now. Now we are going to sew on the arm. I'm in the middle. And then I just kind of follow the leg, the head, and I'm going to call that the middle. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab those 2 stitches and pull it up, and right there I know I'm in the middle. And then I'm just going to grab the stitch up here, and then I'm going to grab the next stitch on the body. So I was on that stitch, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to the very next one. And then I come back up to the arm, and I grab those, and then I go back and I grab the next stitch, and I grab I grab that one, so then I'm going to go ahead and grab this one, and I'm going to grab this one, and then I can pull, and see when I pull, it's nice and tight in there now on that one. So then I need to come through the arm again, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one. I hope this is in camera. So that was the last one I grabbed, so I'm going to grab the one right below it, and then I'm just going to go into the body, and then I'm going to come back up in the middle and basically work the other way around. And you could technically do this and then go around to the bottom, and I may do that. I may see what it looks like when we get done with the top. So I come back up, and so I'm going to pick up a stitch on the arm because I was on the body, and then I'm going to go back into the body. And sometimes I go and I do it right on the neckline, but I just didn't this time. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the next one, and then I'm going to go into the next one, and then I'm just going to pull, and it pulls everything nice and tight. And I think I'm going to see what I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom, just because I feel that it makes the bottom look nice when you look at it. You know, top and bottom, they're kind of even, and it's not like a top and a bottom, they're just perfectly even. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I can just, I'm not sure if you could see what it was before, but you'll definitely be able to see what it is after. And so it's like that, and then I'm just going to pull, and you see it just pulls so nicely. Look at that. And that was one knot, and I'm going to go ahead and make another knot. And that turned out to be quite a big knot, which is why normally I do it the other way. But I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty big. But when I take it and I just pull this way, it's going to take that knot right in, and it'll go in through the polyfill. I may come back and sew it down. Don't know yet. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one because I'll probably still tie it like I normally do. So that's one arm. And then we do the ear the same exact way. I'm going to go ahead and do the ear. You want to make sure that the open part is faced forward, and so I've decided that this is going to be my front. I don't have the big pins, safety pins, to hold it in place, so I just take one of the needles and I just basically hold it in place. Okay, so I went ahead and put on the other arm. And I put on this ear. I didn't tie it off because I want you to see the difference. This was with attaching it on the top and on the bottom. And so it bumps it up. And then on this one, we're just going to attach it on the top. So I'm just basically gonna go, there's the middle. Just gonna go right there. And you can, do the needle to make sure it's where you want it. I'm just gonna eyeball it and I'm gonna go with it. And all I do is I have a stitch on this side, stitch on that side. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to get a stitch on this side. And I'm going to try to get, this is when the needle comes in handy, holding it in place so that you don't lose your spot. And this is where I came out, so I'm going to go right back in there and pick up the next stitch. Just kind of like the mattress stitch, except now we're going across two pieces. And so I'm not sure if you can see. This is just, we joined on the top. This is, we did the top and the bottom. You can see what the bottom looks like there. See, the bottom's not joined in here at all. So when I hold it down, you can kind of sort of see how that one's popped up higher than this one. This one lays a little bit flatter. But when you go like this, it doesn't look so great. So I will go and do the bottom as well. But of course it's up, but that's okay. Here's the ears, and then when I pull, this is going to pull the front down a little bit and give her a little bit more character. You don't have to do that. And then I'm just going to tie it off. Alright, so all we have to do now is put on her little flower bowl and her face. Alright, so with the bow, you could go ahead and sew it on. But what I like to do is just tie it. So I just take on yarn. Just bring it out, put it in the front, take it out the back, and then do the same thing with this yarn. It'll go in a different stitch in the front, but come out the same stitch in the back. See where I want it. I think I want it like right there. So I'm going to go in right there, but I'm going to come out right where the white one is at. And I look at it and I'm like, yep, that's where I want it. I think that looks good. And then I will tie it. Yep. And you could, if you don't think that's enough, you could just take this back into the flower. So go right back in the same hole. Take it into, come back out here, take it into the flower. You're basically grabbing the flower. And you're coming back out. And we could have cut this initial yarn off and come out in a different spot. And so that's just like a second reinforcement. And we could go ahead and tie it off. Or we could go ahead and do it again. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this one off. And then I'm going to and take this out somewhere else. Make sure my knot is hidden. The eyes, you can do them in whatever color you want. I normally just take them out, I hold it at my fingertips and then just go to my shoulder approximately. It doesn't have to be, like I've said before, I rather have more yarn to work with than not enough. That may not be the case for you, so you can cut short or whatever you need. That's just the way I do it. What did we decide? That I think this was the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and this time I'm going to come up a little bit higher. And like this. And let's see, I've got it both. Across from there. And then we're going, that's the middle, so then we're going to go ahead and come one up. Is it just one stitch? Of course, you don't want to pull too much because then it's just deforms the eyes a little bit. So I think I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna leave it like that because I've changed the eye spot now. I think like twice with you guys, and I might have done it on my own once. And of course, right before I make the second knot, I want to come over here and just look and make sure that I did not pull this too tight. And even with all that messing around with it, they are not perfect today. And that's okay because this poor little bunny, when we first started with her, her head was too big. Now her eyes are a little off. But she'll be alright. She'll turn out okay. And then I'm going to take the pink, and I don't need very much of the pink at all. Alright, so again, I'm going to just come out, or come in here. I'm going to come, I want my nose to be like right there, so I'm going to come out there, leave a little tail, and then I'm just going to go one stitch. And I'm going to do, I only did one for the eyes, but I'm going to do 2 or 3 for the nose. Yep, I think I'm going to do one more. And then I'm not going to come out right there, I'm going to come down like right here for the mouth. And then I want to go take that out so I don't poke myself again. And then I want to go in there, come back out. I'm going to come out on the stitch below it. And then come back in, come back out. I don't think I am. I think I'm just going to leave her like this. And another thing that I did not remember at the very beginning was when we started her was the tail. So I do not have a tail for her. But you would just do a little pom-pom. And you can do that. You can use a pom-pom maker, you can use a fork, you can use a piece of cardboard. You can just do it just several different ways you can do it. You can do the tail with the pom-pom. You could also just do a tail on the knitting machine. This is the little bow that I made that I didn't like. I'm just looking at it, seeing if I can turn it into, I could probably just turn that into a little tail and not have to mess around with the pom-pom maker. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come out right here on the edge. I'm going to make a knot just so that my work is right there. And then I'm gonna just go around, pick up 2, leave 2, pick up 2, leave 2. And I'm gonna go ahead and just place a knot right here, just to hold it all in place. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it again, just to make sure I have it nice and tight. And I'm gonna go ahead and give it another knot. And you saw what I did. This was gonna be trash or used as filling for something. I just went ahead and basically did a running stitch around the end, or like a drawstring, and I drew it all close. And I'm just going to sew it on there. Look how cute. Do like we did with everything else. And so I'm going to pick up 2 right, the stitch on the bottom, a stitch on the top, the next stitch on the bottom, the next stitch on the top, next stitch on the bottom, next stitch on the top. Then when I get to the side, instead of picking up a whole stitch like this, I just pick up and going up. So I pick up 2 bars up, and then I go to the next stitch, and then I pick up the next 2 bars, and then I go to the next stitch, and then in this case I'll get to pick up another stitch. So here we are, and then my next stitch, I just work my way around. Hope you guys can see this. Alright, so I'm back to where I started. I'm on the tail instead of on the bunny. And I'm going to go ahead and pull and see what I've got. So I hold the tail in place because it's going to have to pull all this in. And I just pull till it's all nice and tight, nothing else to pull. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick up the stitch right beneath it. And that is perfect. Now I'm just going to make my knots. A little too. Something that was going to just be filling our trash. Look at it, how cute.